What's up, everybody? You're listening to Roots to Grooves with me, Jesse Quigley.
And I'm J Purcell, the founder of Signl Radio. But I'm just kidding. That is J Purcell.
Flip-flopped.
We
Is it because we do so many shows and we forget who we are or something like that? I don't know.
we just have such an affinity for each other that, you know, I want to be called Jay. You want to be called Jesse. We both want to switch and be each other. We're one and the same. We're two separate entities.
Yeah.
But one entity here at Signl, here on Roots to Grooves, and it's a beautiful union.
Yes, it is. It's a beautiful union. Get my words out straight.
Yeah,
this,
Jay, we're doing a
episode.
podcast. We got to speak coherently.
Clearly. And this week, we are talking about Alfa Mist.
Which is a dope name.
It's a really good name, yeah.
It's a cool name and an even cooler project.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What a cool project. I mean, we're talking jazz.
Yeah. Jazz and hip hop, funky beats, piano, keys. I would say it's organic hip hop with head nodding beats a lot of the time. And it's Alfa Mist is one guy, which I didn't find out his real name. I tried, but I couldn't find it. Did you find his real name?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Everyone just calls him Alpha.
That's all I heard.
Yeah.
And when he would describe himself, like in an interview, he'd be like, I'm Alfa Mist.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I think that's cool.
That's cool. The internet does not hold his true real name at the moment, unless that's his real name, but I don't think it is.
Yeah. And the other thing was when I looked him up, you know, Wikipedia often comes up when you look up an artist.
He's not on Wikipedia.
Well, he came up.
He did?
But his page is all in Spanish.
Did you do the Google Translate?
I did.
And what came up?
It was there, and his information is there, but I don't understand why you look him. He's British.
Yeah.
So we're
He's
talking
from
about
London.
a British jazz hip hop artist.
Yeah, he's from East Ham, which is in London. What is it? East Ham is a district of the London borough of Newham. I had to look that up. Newham, because he said Newham a few times, and East Ham is a borough of Newham. Yeah.
Borough of Newham.
Yeah. It's like it's inside. There's London, and then there's East Ham, and then there's Newham, and something like that.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, we got to get we need a map.
We need a
here.
geography teacher with
this. Yeah, we need a geography like a student of geography for reference.
And I'm from England, but I'm not from London. I lived there a little bit in Crystal Palace is where I lived in London when I was younger, and I, used to spend a lot of my time in London before I came over here. But I lived outside of London. But he is from like East Ham and Newham, which apparently when he was growing up was a lot of people, like everyone he knew when he was in high school was making beats, making grime.
So he started as a grime artist.
Yeah.
What would you consider as grime? How would you describe that?
It's a unique strand of I would call it hip hop, but like they have garage music in the UK as well, kind of thing. So it's like it's sort of like modern beats, but with a lot of like dance hall reggae influence.
Okay.
And it's a very sort of unique genre by itself, kind of thing. And yeah, he was like, everyone he knew was rapping or making beats, and he was in high school, and growing up there. And he is a son of an immigrant. His mum is from Uganda originally. She came to the UK, and I didn't find out any information about where his father's from. But he grew up kind of poor East London stuff, and his mum had multiple jobs. She'd do anything to make money to put bread on the table for the family, from like doing cleaning jobs and whatever kind of thing. And he was just in there getting into music, surrounded by music, because you know, there are big artists that came up from the area he lives in, sort of thing. But I'm not sure if he really knew any of them.
For sure.
Yeah, and so yeah, that's kind of like his formative years, and so he was really into J Dilla, Ninth Wonder, Madlib,
High tech.
High Tech. Yeah, he was listening to all that sort of stuff. And when he started making music in his bedroom, he was making music like that kind of thing. And he sort of kind of was getting a little bit frustrated with it, like the sample-based music and trying to create sample-based music. And he was wondering why his beats weren't sounding as good as those people that he was listening to, kind of thing. And which led him on to like exploring, like, why is that the case, kind of thing. And you know, and he was trying to sort of figure out who are these artists sampling, like, you know, how are they making these beats, sort of thing. And that led him down a path of like discovering the original samples, which is a lot. Oftentimes, there's a lot of old like jazz tracks, kind of thing, old music. And you know, and so when he realized that, then he was sort of diving into the old jazz records and then sampling those, and making beats that way. And then he got frustrated with that even further, because he was like, I love these chords, but I don't know what any of them are called. Like, it was like, I would love to like be able to do that by myself, kind of thing. And
Right.
so he got to the age of 17, and he decided, he made a very clear decision that like, I'm going to learn how to play piano. And it was interesting because he was going to school, but he wasn't like from a good means, like he didn't really have any resources behind him, kind of thing. And he couldn't like learn at school music. So he was like, well, I still want to learn. So he self-taught himself how to play the piano.
Yeah, which is cool. I think he was super into, I think he kind of wanted to go to the piano, to the keyboard.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, even maybe specifically the keyboard, but either way, because of the keys, the way they're laid out.
Yeah.
I think, you know, Mr. Mist,
Mr. Mist.
Mr. Alpha, whatever you want to say.
Sometimes people call him MC Alfa Mist as well,
MC,
because he does also rap.
Yeah, so he does rap, and he's on some. He's rapping
Yeah.
over some of his beats.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's not a rapper.
No.
As far as his project goes.
No, yeah.
Just get into this real quick.
Yeah.
He raps, but only when he feels like it's necessary for the song. When he feel like
Yeah.
this part needs rap.
Yeah, he said it's like a tool in his toolbox rather than like something he does. He says like,
I think that's cool.
yeah, and he's like, you know, I can do it, and he'll do it when the song calls for it, but he won't do it on every song.
Yeah, he's not. I'm a rapper,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I need music in the background so I can rap.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm gonna make music, and if that music calls for rap,
yeah,
I got it.
yeah.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try at least, and from what I've heard, it's good.
Yeah.
I don't know how to judge rappers on, you know, I can't. I'm not an Olympic judge on you know what to give, what kind of numbers for how good you are as a rapper or what's good, but
Yeah.
I just go on the flow.
Yeah, he's good. Like when he does do it, you know, it's not like
it's tasteful.
it's tasteful. He's not forcing anything. It's like it's more kind of like poetry or whatever, and he does it really well.
Yeah, if nothing else, it's enhancing what's going on in the music.
Yeah,
More than music being a backdrop for his rapping.
yeah,
I think that's dope.
yeah, yeah.
You know, he's using rap, which is a whole genre and lifestyle even.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'm going to use some of that when I think it's necessary as a tool.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And that's like a powerful thing.
Yeah.
And so kind of like what I was saying about keyboard, piano, the keys. I think this guy's super into harmony.
Yeah.
And I was looking at some videos and listening to him talk about it. And I'm like, whoa, I'm not sure if I even know what harmony is anymore.
Yeah.
Because this guy's,
I know where you're coming from. Yeah.
he's like deep into it. And it's
He's
like,
really big on harmony.
yeah.
And it's very interesting. So like he said when he was sampling, like he was always in front of like a MIDI keyboard, you know. And so he said when he chopped up his samples, he would always map them to different notes on the keyboard kind of thing. So he'd always be playing like his samples, like the jazz samples or whatever, in that way kind of thing. And that's how he sort of started to get the feel for it, sort of thing.
Right.
But on a technical level. But yeah, like you're saying, like he was wondering why his music wasn't sounding like these people. He was figuring out what these guys were sampling. He was digging by himself and finding these things. And then he was, just like, I want to explore the harmony of this. Like, the harmony is what he says. Yeah. And it's like, and he was like, I need to learn how to play piano and figure out what these chords are and how I can play them myself and how I can generate them myself, kind of thing.
Yeah, and often pianos, it's laid out in such a way that's distinct. And as a non-musician even could say, you just look at it and it's just the keys are like literally lined up from bottom to top. And it's very visual. And I feel like that's how I don't know, I think that's why they teach piano as a fundamental instrument for a lot of people when they're learning music in general, because it's a great way to kind of visually show what's going on at the same time as you're learning why these harmonies are working and what the music theory means in accordance with these different intervals of notes you're playing. And that's all good. And I'm no keyboard player or anything. I know nothing about music theory. Like I do when I'm learning and I try, but compared to the greats of the world and the intellectuals in music theory, I'm at the very bottom, you know what I mean? But I think,
did you learn by ear though as well, or did you learn some kind of theory in school or something?
No, not at all. I mean, primarily by ear. I just started learning on guitar my favorite songs.
Right. By ear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, by ear, my dad taught me a couple, chords. Got me started with like a couple chord formations. Like, okay, cool. And then I would listen to some music, and then I would try to connect the dots. Like, well, I don't know how to play what that sounds like. So what do I do? So I started, hop on the internet and get tabs.
Yeah, I used to download tabs as well.
Yeah, tabs.
Some of them are bad. Some of them are like, is this how you play
That's the thing you find out. And you go through this whole thing and you learn how to play the song the way the tab says. And it's like, something's wrong.
It's because someone else figured it out by ear, and then they did the tab and they put it on the internet.
Yeah.
If people don't know what tabs are, it's basically like, how does it look? It's like pictures.
Tablature. It's like a visual of what's happening on the guitar. You can visually see like the neck frets of a guitar, and there's frets. It's just like that. And then imagine that on a piece of paper, and then it's kind of hard to describe. But
but it shows kind of like if you're where your fingers need to be on the guitar and stuff like that.
Right. And the numbers will correspond to the finger numbers. Like I don't even know well enough, but like your fingers correspond like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think your thumb counts, but I think your index finger would be number 1, 2, 3, 4. So if there's a 1 on the corresponding like E string, and it shows that on the 2nd fret, then you put your first finger on that fret. Then you follow the code where to put your other finger, and then it forms a shape. Strum the chord, and you play the chord. So it kind of tells you specifically where to put your fingers on the fretboard to play a specific chord. And then it does that for every chord or every note, whether it's a solo or a block chord that you're playing. And it's a map for what to play and how to play it, basically. And all the information is not there because there's obviously a difference between musical notation and tablature. Not the same. There's some semblance. Some resemblance. I might be making up words right now, but that's okay. all words are made up. Jay.
Well, I think it's like, because I remember when I was first learning how to play guitar, and my dad got me this book, and it was like a really simple little book kind of thing, and it showed you all the chords of the guitar, and it had pictures. So, like, the first thing would be like the picture of like the hand, like a real person's
picture of a person playing a chord,
playing like a D or whatever kind of thing, and then below it, it would have like a picture of like the frets, and then the dots of where your finger should be, kind of thing. And that's kind of how tabs are as well. So it's like the tabs are like it shows you the dots, it shows you the frets, and then the dots of where your fingers should be, kind of thing.
Right,
a little bit, and then. Also in time, sometimes they put lyrics, so you have like a reference, right, of like where you are in the songs.
Because again, it's like a layman's terms of actual music notation.
Yeah.
That's what reading a sheet of music, that's the value in that. It tells you specifically where to play, what notes to play at specific what times. Tablature is like, here's the chord, but it's not necessarily going to give you the specific rhythm. And a lot of times if you're like playing play the E, like dun, 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 E chord, it'll just say that same shape, like chord, 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 in a visual way. So there's it's not the same as musical notation, but it's very valuable for a beginner because it's layman's terms. It's just raw data. Put your finger here, play the chord. Okay. And so it's a great way to start. And that's how I started learning the shapes of different chords. Learning just the general vibe of what's going on the guitar.
So I learned how to play the first part of Under the Bridge by Red Hot Chili Peppers. I could play the ding, 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 and I could like do it for like, then I kind of lost it because I couldn't figure out the rest of it from the tabs.
But John Frusciante is playing some
crazy weird shit.
Cool, interesting stuff. Good stuff.
But I mean, we're getting off track a little bit, but not really so much because you and I now are riffing on how we like learn how to play guitar or figure out songs kind of thing. And Alfa Mist is coming from the perspective of like, he wants to create, these sounds that he's hearing in the records kind of thing. And he really his ear is really tuned into what he calls the harmony kind of thing. And it's very interesting. He mentions it a lot. Like he said that you can create harmony from any instrument. It doesn't matter what instrument it is, you can create harmony from it. And he's very attuned to that. And that's like his thing, I think. Like that's like the crux of where he's coming from. That's what he hears musically and everything like that. And I don't know his process. I couldn't find out like how he went about learning. All I know is by ear. So like he listened to a lot of music and was just trying to play along and trying to figure out what was going on. He said the first thing he did was not actually listening to old musicians, but listening to current jazz musicians and seeing what they were doing, sort of thing. He mentioned a few names. I can't really remember all of them, but I think Robert Glasper was one guy that he mentioned. And a few other people that are sort of like modern pianists, jazz musicians, but they're doing something more kind of in the soul-y R&B, neo-soul space sort of thing. And he was really into that first before he started going backwards into listening to sort of older kind of jazz music. And when he did that, when he went delve backwards, he said Thelonious Monk was someone that really stood out to him as like a jazz musician that was really just kind of doing whatever he wanted and being very unique kind of thing. And that
resonated with Alpha, with Mr. Mist.
So it's very interesting. Alfa Mist, like he's a producer, he's a beat maker, and then he decided to delve into the piano and really learn that. And if you see him play, like I mean, he's amazing. Like it's a natural talent. Like yes, he put in some graft to learn how to play, but he did it. No doubt. Also, what's very interesting as well is the chords he plays are very obscure. Like the sounds he creates on the piano, it's oftentimes dark, but dark in a good jazzy way. But it's just very specific to his, like, I don't know where he's pulling these chords from, but it's like, it must come from like his idea of harmony, and he's hearing something. He's hearing something that we don't hear or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's you could throw words out like genius.
Yeah.
It's like he's at that level of like, wow.
Yeah.
Like some of this stuff blew me away. It's instantly like sucked me in like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I can't explain it because I don't know music well enough. And I didn't obviously delve into the specific chords that he's playing in these different parts and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But one of the cool things was that I think, back to how he's super in tune with harmony. I in an interview I heard him. He's really up. Sorry, I'm not speaking very well right now, but he sees the link between the harmony and like emotion.
Yeah.
And
or music and emotion as well.
More in general, exactly. And it's just like more of the same. And he just wants to. I mean, that's what's interesting to him, and that's what is driving his passion to like figure these harmonies out. Like, what's this music theory, and why does it make me feel this way?
Yeah, he said.
And how can I use that to make other people feel this way?
Yeah, he said like the connection between music and emotion is something is also very. So it's harmony and the emotion of the music, and emotion being in a way where he can make people feel certain things with his use of harmony and chords and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, so you can make someone feel sad or happy, or
that's crazy.
He even said fear. Like
that's scary. Even that's like, I'm a little scared that he's just saying that. But a person has control over emotions. Yeah. Like that's next level.
Yeah. He also said, you know, we don't really know about, you know, our relationship. Like it's not really, I mean, there's people that have thoughts out there about it, and I'm sure there's books out there about it and stuff like that. But like, but to really sort of think about, you know, as humans, our emotional reaction to music and the sounds we're hearing kind of thing, and how it can change us, our vibe and our feeling and that. We did the last episode on beach fossils, and, you know, he was saying how he was depressed and he found an escape by creating music kind of thing. Yeah. And it's like, you know, so that is an impact as well. It's like you can do music to make you feel better. Play it or listen to it or whatever.
That's one of the coolest things, how music can do something for you specifically, personally. Yeah. But at the same time, you're creating something that somebody else can consume and feel their own emotions based on whatever you're providing. Yeah. I mean, it's just endlessly interesting. Yeah. And it's hard to describe, and that's not specifically what we're here to talk about.
But it's a big part of Alfa Mist, I think. But
but this is kind of where this guy's coming from. Yeah. Just in general, to give everybody an idea, this guy's...
I mean, he's super talented. You know, he came from East London from poor means, couldn't learn music educationally or academically. He had to teach himself, like, you know, and so from coming from like listening to people like High Tech, like Wonder Mad Lib, J Dilla, producing beats, being in an environment where other people are producing grime beats, which is like a very specific British kind of sound kind of thing, right? To discovering piano and wanting to create harmony, and then through to like wanting to like not mess with people's emotions, but like, you know, kind of like create an emotional response.
I think that's what, I think that's fair to say.
That's kind of his basis of where he's coming from, I think.
Yeah. Like, I think that's fair to say though. Like if people want to listen to music, you want your emotions to be messed with a little bit. Like you put on a song it's different for everybody. Yeah. This is the beauty of music. Yeah. There's different facets, different perspectives on the same material. Yeah. Something can make somebody feel happy. That same thing can make somebody feel sad. And it depends on your perspective and context of what you're trying to feel and what the artist is trying to make you feel or help you feel. Yeah. And this guy's super in tune with that. So I love it. Yeah. And I love Alfa Mist all of a sudden. Because I had not heard about this guy ever. Yeah. Until you brought it up for this episode.
I discovered him through doing The Drop, which is another show on Signl kind of thing. Because like every week I'm scouring like for new releases that come out, because The Drop is all about playing new releases. Yeah. And Alfa Mist in the last couple of months has started popping up quite a lot, because he's had a new album come out, which we'll talk about. And yeah, he just kept coming up. He's been very prolific recently with singles and albums and stuff like that every week. And I was just like, okay, this guy's interesting. And I was like, you know, when it came to like suggesting an artist for Rooster Grieves, I was like, I thought of him and I was like, let me go check him out, because, you know, I'm hearing his latest stuff, but I don't really know too much about him. Yeah. And yeah, I found out he's been releasing music since 2015 and has 1, 2, 3 full-length albums, but one EP Nocturne EP that came out in 2015, which is what the opening track tonight that I played off of. It was called Blaze, which featured Kaya Thomas Dyke, who's a bassist and a vocalist, and she was doing vocals on that track, kind of thing.
Antiphon, let me just say, Antiphon is gorgeous.
The whole album.
Through. Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's his first. His first album, pretty much. Yeah.
Which is crazy. Yeah. I try to listen to, here on Roots to Grooves, if there's an artist that you brought up that I don't know, I try to listen to as much of the music as I can.
Yeah.
To get context and feel out what they're trying to do, who they're trying to be. And to be honest, like I listened to some stuff. I got to Antiphon, and then I just had to listen to that a couple more times over and over, and I didn't get to some of the later stuff.
That's all good.
I was just like, whoa. Like, I don't have time to listen to anything else right now. I have to listen to this again. Yeah. And it was, I don't know, it sucked me in really hard.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second. Because we're still talking about the general vibe, right? Yeah, where are we at?
Yeah.
Because I got a couple notes. So yeah, he was a teenager when he was dabbling in hip hop.
Yeah.
A couple influences, Miles Davis came up.
Yeah.
So jazz.
Yeah.
Kind of jazz standard classic stuff. And then another thing that maybe a little out of left field, but very on point, was he was into Hans Zimmer. The German composer of soundtracks for movies.
James Bond. He's done lots of soundtracks.
Yeah, I think he's done. I think Inception.
Yeah,
like a lot of these huge epic movies that a lot of times have cool twists and obviously.
Which, by the way, I recently subscribed to Masterclass, and I watched Questlove about DJing. I'm currently watching Timbaland about producing beats. The next one I want to watch is Hans Zimmer. He's on there talking about.
I almost bought that whole suite.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested in that as well.
I'll give you a guest pass. I think I can give you some kind of access to that.
That would be awesome.
And also, by the way, to the listeners, I can't give you access to that, but we can give you a bag of cash if you email us at rootstogrooves@signalradio.com. Anyway, moving on.
Just throwing that out there. But this is real. Jay will give you a bag of cash. All you have to do is hit us up at the email with any fun facts or corrections or hate mail.
Yeah.
Just give us that email real quick. What's the email?
rootstogrooves@signalradio.com. That's SIGNL radio.com.
For a bag of cash.
Bag of cash.
Throwing that out there, but that's not what we're talking about here.
Yeah, anyway.
But I thought it was cool because I listened to some like movie soundtracks, sometimes when I'm trying to fall asleep, and I'm just in that zone where I don't want to like think about something specific, but my brain's not done like enjoying things.
How are you finding these? Just randomly searching for movie soundtracks?
Or something that's on my mind. Like sometimes one of the latest ones I'll listen to John Williams, who I'll listen to some Star Wars music.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars compositions, whatever you want to call his whatever the right vernacular it is to call that music, but it's certainly epic and it's gorgeously beautiful. And I think a lot of the times you watch Star Wars and you just kind of accept the music.
Yeah, people don't really I was going to say cotton on to it. I don't know if that's a phrase that people like.
Cotton on.
Cotton on.
You hadn't cottoned on. Hadn't cotton on to that yet. I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Well, as I was saying it, I was like, I don't think watching Star Wars is about you ain't cotton on to the music. It's part of the movie, which is good. That's how movie soundtracks should be. They should be complementary to what's going on.
Yeah, and that's one of the beautiful things that Hans Zimmer does. Is that he makes it feel like you're just experiencing something.
Yeah.
Not watching some video with some cool music in the background. It's kind of you're just enveloped in what's happening.
Yeah.
And that's what he's able to create with sound.
Yeah.
As well, in addition to the obviously video of the film. So cool stuff.
Yeah.
But I see where this guy's coming from, because it's cool that he's into hip hop, he's into jazz, but he's also into these big epic, orchestral productions.
Which is something we could talk about a little bit later on. His collaborations with orchestras. But yeah.
Totally. da 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 da. But yeah, he wants to make people feel something.
Yeah.
He said he's pretty dark as a person. Again, so everything ends up kind of sounding melancholy.
Yeah, someone asked
reflective.
him what his perfect day looked like, and he said it's going to Asda, and Asda is like a grocery store in England kind of thing, and buying muffins and coffee, and going home, and then making music, and then he also said basically trying to stay indoors to keep people away from his bad communication skills.
Yeah.
So that was great.
I think this guy's an epic communicator, but he just does it through music.
Yeah.
I think.
Let's play another track.
Yeah, it's about time.
I want to do this track off of Antiphon, and it's called 7th of October or 7th October.
An event, but what a turn of events. I'm confirming the end. I was sleeping in the services then. She's the weakest in a circle of friends. She was flirting with men, I'm learning to mend. There's a lot of hurt to amend, and I wanted to return to the sender, but I never heard her again. So I turned to the next, pressed the burden on them. She's immersed, usually I'd be the first to defend, but I'm showing no concern, it's a trend. Tables turn, I'm pulling out, we had a date confirmed, but to me that's a mistake I earned. It aches, it burns, got a 2nd degree like I paid to learn. Should be letting it be cause it makes me worse. I should be setting her free from the chains and curse, but she's no better than me, what's the safety word? Why is it ladies first? Why can't people get what they deserve?
Yeah, that was 7th of October from Antiphon, his Alfa Mist's first official album release, which dropped in 2017. And there's a lot going on in that track, like obviously musically. And then you got Alfa Mist doing some of his rapping on it.
Yeah.
And then also some of that conversation you heard in the background was actually his brothers. So like throughout this album, he has his brothers talking on like, you know, a few tracks sort of thing. And he said basically what he did with this was that he said he was going to record a podcast talking about mental health and relationships. And so he invited his brothers to talk about that. And they did. They had like a whole conversation about it, and you know, and kind of like also like what it means to like sort of check in on people, especially if you haven't seen them for a long time. And if you haven't seen them for a long time, can you really still be part of their life?
Yeah.
And you know, that was the whole conversation. And Alfa Mist said that like when he was doing this conversation with his brothers, he found himself agreeing with them and being like, yeah, I'm on the same page kind of thing. And it was almost kind of like a debate with himself, as he said, is where this sort of, these vocal discussions came from, which is, he doesn't use a lot. He used sparingly throughout the album kind of thing. But yeah, it's like and that's a whole very interesting topic. Well, yeah, aside from the music, yeah, like
what a cool thing to do, because a lot of people don't even actually speak to their siblings in the real world, like face to face, and have this arena of communication open to discussing these things, even though this stuff is happening and you're feeling something, I'm feeling something, your siblings are feeling something.
Yeah.
And he organized this to record it, and to put it out live, at least some of the clips, like such an intimate thing. A lot of people wouldn't, you know, people want intimacy in their music, but not a lot of the time that I've ever come across where people are like, hey, brother, sister, come sit around this microphone and let's have a conversation about our relationship. I'm putting it on my album. like that's just like on blast, like so something so intimate. And I love how he wants to put that on his record, because that's the realest thing that you can do.
It definitely shows a level of personal, like, I don't know, just like not hiding anything, like just letting it, like, I mean, I'm just kind of thinking about it for myself. I know you have like what, 2 brothers and a sister or something?
2 sisters and a brother.
2 sisters and a brother. I have 1 brother, and like, you know, if I'm thinking about if I was going to do the same type of thing, you know, like record a conversation with my brother and then put it on a record, like that would be very, like, I don't know, it would be cool, but it'd just be very intense for me to think about.
That's what I'm saying, like
sort of thing,
like cathartic though.
Cathartic, yeah.
Like I think that's a healthy thing. Like, address your feelings. Simply, you don't have to record it and put it out on Spotify. But just the fact that he did that, and he did put it on Spotify. But like that just says so much about, like, I should be able to just talk to my siblings. Not on a record.
Well, that's the thing. It makes us think about that, right? Like the fact that he did this makes us as music listeners think about our family, and which is, you know, kind of because he was, you know, specifically with his brothers talking about mental health and relationships and checking in on each other. And if you go a long time without being in contact with a certain person, are you part of their life, like, or not? You know, I feel this way even with friends and family as well. Like, I'm on the other side of the world, and my family's on the other side of the world. On 2 separate continents. I have family in England and family down in Mauritius, which is like off the east coast of Africa kind of thing. And, you know, and I'm like the furthest place away from both of those groups of families, which is crazy. But yeah, I think about this a lot, like my connection with them, and like, if I'm not on Skype every week, I'm not part of their daily lives. I'm not seeing what's going on in their daily lives. I'm just seeing what we talk about like once a week sort of thing,
Yeah,
like,
that's the difference.
Makes me think. Yeah.
Better. That's it.
Yeah.
Makes you think.
Yeah.
Alfa Mist makes you think.
Yeah. He's tugging on those emotional fucking things, like very specifically. Like
he's, I mean, it's amazing. Not a lot of people have the heart or the will to like, talk to their siblings about real shit.
Or it's hard, like you don't have that relationship with your sibling, or something like that. So it's like, if you do want to talk about that, it's kind of strange or something like that. Like you have to kind of,
it feels foreign. It doesn't feel natural.
Yeah.
And here this guy is like, I'm making music, but also, I want to delve into these feelings because he sees them one and the same.
Yeah,
I love that. Like the emotions, like what do you feel? And he sees that as it equates to what chords I'm playing. Like, how does that chord make me feel? How does that chord make somebody else feel?
Right.
And he's just blending these, blending emotions between humans and music and humans.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. I don't know how to explain that. I'm not a therapist, Jay. I'm not a music theoryologist.
Yeah.
I'm not anything. What am I?
You are something, Jesse.
I'm still figuring it out. I'm something, but I'm figuring it out. But I'm just saying, this guy's dope. Yeah. He's not afraid to get into intimate things.
Yeah.
And I think he's looking for intimacy within music.
That's just funny because I didn't think about this when I was researching, but now talking with you, like I'm realizing how big a factor this is in his music.
Yeah. That's what I see. I just discovered this guy this week because you brought it up for the podcast.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing in itself.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. This guy is like, I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, on a let's just sort of take it back a little bit, on a sort of not technical level, but like a kind of, music career level type of shit or whatever. Like he dropped this Antiphon album in 2017. I'm not sure how he released it, but it ended up getting up on YouTube and someone bootlegged it and uploaded it to YouTube, and it ended up getting like 8 million views and listens.
Was this before it was actually released?
I think I'm not sure how it came about, whether it was released or not, but some dude uploaded or I don't know,
like it was leaked.
It was leaked, and it got up on YouTube, and it got like, it's 8 million views, and Alfa Mist even said that he was on YouTube, and it like was suggested to him as a video to watch kind of thing, and he was like, what? And
like, that's me.
Yeah, and that's what blew him up. Like people were streaming it on YouTube and listening to it from there, and really getting it. He said he's since talked to the person that originally uploaded it, and he said they're good, kind of thing.
It's all good. It's all chill. He's not suing.
Yeah. But like that is kind of what happened with that album. And it's a funny thing because he's also a SoundCloud guy, and there's like a big SoundCloud movement of people that sort of he put his stuff out on SoundCloud, and Tom Misch is also someone that started just by uploading to SoundCloud and got big, and kind of people know about him now. Tom Misch, guitarist guy, you know about him?
No,
you don't know Tom Misch?
I'm one of those who does not know.
Oh, well, we should do a show on him then. Like he's like a really good jazz guy. How about Jordan Rakai? Do you know him?
Okay. 0 for for me.
Yeah. Barney.
Barney Stinson.
No.
Okay.
Barney something else. Barney Sound. I can't remember his name. Whatever. Fuck it.
Forget it.
But like they're all like they've all come up. Have you heard of Yusuf Days?
Yeah.
The drummer.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tom Misch recently did a project with Yusuf Days.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it's like, and it was kind of funny, like with Alfa Mist because he said like that Tom Misch like invited him to like go and produce with him back in the day, and he was like, he kind of said no, and he thought that Tom Misch like hated him or didn't like him for that kind of thing, or something, or some weird energy. But Alfa Mist was basically like he didn't think that it would work making music with two producers,
right?
Because he said Tom Misch's stuff was really good, and his stuff is good. Like, and he was like, I don't know what I could add to it, like sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then Jordan Rakei, he's this guy. I think he's from New Zealand, but he moved to London, and that's where he's based. And he's like releasing a lot of albums. He's kind of like soul, jazz, R&B, really good stuff. And he said that Jordan Rakei sent Alfa Mist a message, and Alfa Mist responded, but Jordan Rakei never got it. So Jordan Rakei thought that he was just ignoring him. So he said he's had this weird origin story with like these guys because he's since collaborated with them a lot, kind of thing. But it's like, but the first communications were just like it wasn't happening. Sort of thing. But there's a good video on YouTube of them all collaborating in a studio together where they go try to make a song in a day.
I'll watch that. Yeah. Which is interesting. One of the YouTube comments was too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It kind of is because
maybe not.
They're all really good, these guys, and
it's it's just so dependent on the specific context. You could put 5 random people in the room. Maybe they would not go. Maybe they would not jive. Pick 5 other people, put them in a studio. Maybe it's magic.
Yeah,
you kind of never know. That's
but if you got like it would a sort of a parallel would be like if you put like I don't know like some big artists in the same room. Like who's some big artists that you think of like off the top of your head? Like
Dave Grohl.
Okay, yeah.
And Adrian Young.
Okay.
That's
a weird matchup.
That's a weird matchup. I don't know what you said. Pick some names. I picked some names
from the same sort of genre. Maybe.
I went as far as I could have. I was like nothing like that. Okay.
No, I was thinking of like if you put like 5 superstars in one room, like like if you had like back in the day, like you put like I don't know, fucking James Brown and Curtis Mayfield and Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Like, all in the same room.
Yeah.
And Pharrell Williams or whatever. And you're like, make a track in a day. And it's like, well, we're all really like fucking super powerful on each of the shit that we do. Like, how do we work with each other sort of thing?
Is there a way?
Should
there be a way? Should we even do it?
Should we even do that?
I don't know. These are the questions, though, and this is what people are experiencing doing music, which is cool. It's an experiment.
Yeah. Well,
nobody knows what's good or what's bad.
And the cool thing with this thing that they did, so it was Alfa Mist, Jordan Rakei, Tom Misch, and one other guy. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I forgive you.
But like, they said basically like Tom Misch sat down at the studio and he came up with the beat. And then he put some guitar down. It was sort of like flowing in his direction because he was the one that started it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then Alfa Mist was like, I'm kind of the keys person in this situation, sort of thing. So I'm going to do some so he like put some like live piano down and all that. And then like Jordan Rakei just did the bass, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just the bass player," kind of, And the other guy did some rapping over it, sort of thing. And then after Tom Misch left the studio, like there was like the rest of the guys were in the studio and they kept playing the song over and over again, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, we can like put it in a different direction and do this." So they did some stuff with it, but it's kind of interesting. It's like, I mean, these guys are all like super. Like if you listen to each of these guys' albums, they have a very
it's eclectic,
defined sound individually. They're capable individually of making really solid music. So it's like, it's gonna be interesting if they collaborate, sort of thing. But
it's always an experiment.
Yeah.
No matter who you're working with.
But to bring it back to Alfa Mist, though, like he Nocturne, his first EP in 2015, was all done completely by himself. And then 2017, Antiphon, this album that you really like as well, like he started to invite other musicians to come on to play on it. Basically saying he was saying that like he can play every instrument, but he's not like a super virtuoso on each instrument. Right. So like, he can come up with like a guitar idea, but then he's like, let me hire, kind of hire. Let me bring in my friend that can play
it's a
like
symbiotic relationship. But he was like, oh, I can play guitar. Yeah, I can play keys. But like, would it be better if I had somebody else who's like, guitar's their thing?
Exactly.
Like I'm keys guy.
Bring in him. I'll show him my idea. He can take that idea and then he can go further with it. Sort of thing. And that's what he did on Antiphon, and with drummers, guitarists, and bass players and stuff like that. Him still keeping his realm of piano and keys,
kind of his little world of expertise,
and production and songwriting and everything like that. Yeah, but bringing in these like specific musicians to like flesh out each of these parts, sort of thing, which he was like he instantly recognized and wanted to do, like from the get go, sort of thing. Like and it fucking works. Like
yeah. I love that. Like, absolutely love that. It reminds me of, one of my favorite artists, Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys,
yeah. And, you can read articles for days about him, playing the studio as an instrument.
Yeah.
And that's just what he was doing. He was a producer, organizing ideas.
Yeah.
But he did not play... the timpani. He didn't play the bass. He didn't play the drums. He had
a vision, though.
But he had an idea, a vision, and he organized it however he could do it to make it happen.
Yeah.
I just think that's super beautiful. Like, you don't have to do every single little thing in order to create something that you want to create. Just in anything. Whenever I'm talking about music, skyscrapers come up.
Yeah.
Business. Skyscrapers. You got to build the foundation before you build up higher.
Yeah.
You can't just start at the top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
You don't build a pyramid by starting at the top.
Yeah, you start from the
foundation. Lowly in the dirt. Yeah. And sometimes when you build a skyscraper, you got to dig down before you go up.
There you go.
And that's a huge thing for me.
You love that analogy, but it is.
I love that analogy. I love it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again because it just makes so much sense to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like you're going down.
Yeah, but you have to go down and dig in and dig deep before you can come up.
I think that's huge. Yeah. That resonates for me, and that's why I keep bringing it up.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
I think it's a good analogy. Maybe I'm overdoing it. If you don't like it, go watch another YouTube video. Okay. I don't really care. But no. But one thing I did want to talk about. So Nocturne.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get into that a little bit.
The first EP.
The first EP, because that did feature some guests.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
It wasn't Antiphon where he initially featured guests, but there was a run of guests on Nocturne EP, including Tom Misch.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I'm pronouncing Misch right. Barney Artiste.
That's the guy I was trying to think of.
That was that was the guy.
Yeah.
And then Jordan Rakai or Rocky.
Rakai.
Yeah,
cool. Jordan Rakai, yeah.
Cool. So I mean, and that was an 11-track EP. So it's not a
you're right. And there's others. There's like Rachel Ofori. There's Kaya Domus Dyke, who featured on the track we started out with. Lester Duval, Carl Modi, and Imavi. I want to say that right. And actually, he's gone on to do separate projects. He has a completely separate album project with Lester Duval and also with Imavi. Like separate album drops, like where he's just solely collaborating with those people on a full album kind of thing.
That's epic. I haven't even gotten into all his
he's done so
side
many
projects and stuff.
He's been so fucking prolific over the years, which is crazy. Like he's dropping these very robust albums, but he's also you know, doing full albums with other artists like at the same time, sort of thing. So he's been like, since, you know, 2015, he's just been pumping out tracks and the music and stuff like that. And it's very interesting because he says he doesn't, you know, people ask him like, you know, what was your big break or anything like that, and he was like, I don't know if I've ever had a big break. He just says it's slow and steady. Like the other thing he said is like, you know, he doesn't like even really think about that stuff anyway. Like he's just like focusing on the music and what he's creating. And also he's very like humble, like from where he's coming from, kind of thing. Like, you know, growing up poor in London, being a son of an immigrant, and you know, and his mum like not having much and having to work all these like different types of jobs to just like put food on the table for the family and a roof over the head, kind of thing. And he's just very like, you know, grounded and rooted in all of that stuff. And it's sort of like reared its head in a weird way. And I'm kind of like moving a little bit too far ahead when I say this about like his latest album, because his latest album, which dropped this year, 2021, was written and recorded during COVID quarantine kind of thing. And, you know, and him saying that, you know, he realizes at this point, like everyone's having these same sorts of like outlooks on things and life and all that. And it's something he's always kind of had. And he's realizing that other people have this outlook as well, kind of thing. You know, just about like yourself, your sense of place in the world, what you're doing, what you should be doing, what you're not doing. Like,
I got a good quote. This is him. I live in this perpetual bring back state where I can never really be sure that I'm doing as well as I am, he says. When you grow up where I did, you live in a sense of instability. You can be doing okay for a while, but that can change. You always know that that's a possibility. So he never takes what he has for granted.
No.
Because he's coming, he's, you know, started from the bottom, now I'm here. And he recognized that, and it's fully enveloped in him, in his being. And he's not afraid of it or scared of it. You know, he's just fully like, if I'm going to continue to be successful. Like, I think I was watching a video where somebody was like, what do you think of your success or whatever? And he's like, it's cool. Like, I'm for sure paraphrasing here. But he said it's cool, but it's not going to take you anywhere. Like, you still have to, you know, be the person you want to be and do the things you want to do, whether or not that's going to take you to the next level. You just be true to yourself, do what you want to do. That's the best you can do. That's all you can do. And just go for that, because nothing else matters. That was a quote, and it's cool. A lot of the quotes that I've seen from what I was researching and stuff, he's just a cool, chill, down to earth dude. He's not egoed out. He's not all hyped. He knows his place.
You know, none of these people are like that we've been talking about on Roots Degrees. I don't feel like anyone has really had like a massive ego. Like,
I don't know if does that say more about us who we're picking to talk about?
Well, maybe. But also, I don't know about some of these artists when I throw them up to talk about.
But also, sometimes you don't know.
So, But I think it's like part of like how you can get along in this world and be creative and move forward is by not being an arsehole and not.
And that's what I vibe with. Like, it doesn't. There's a million ways you can do what you want to do in the world. But there's less ways that I want to do. You know, personally, and there's ways that you want to do, and we all individually want to do. And you just gotta pick one and go. Do it. Go. And that's what he did. He picked music, and he was like, focus on keyboard. Focus on your What's your motivation? And then what's your discipline? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
And how are you going to do it?
Yeah.
And he's like, music, jazz, keyboard, boom, go hard. And he did it, and he's continued to do it. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we're talking about Nocturne EP.
Yeah. You went back there. Went back there.
Well, I mean, I think that's where we're at. Is that not right?
No, I played a track of Antiphon.
Well, we're already in Antiphon.
We've
Okay,
gone through that a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know we were going back and forth and stuff, but okay.
Yeah.
Fair. Antiphon.
Yeah. No, we went back and forth. It's not a chronological episode. It's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
we're going back and forth, but Antiphon.
Yeah.
Because it blew me away.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to talk about the whole time.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm going to Nocturne because I'm trying to like fill some space.
Well, I was gonna like play another track off of his next thing, Structure.
Oh, you're like 2 albums ahead of me.
But we can play another track of Antiphon.
No, let's do it.
Yeah, another track of Antiphon. It's 8 songs, 52 minutes. It's pretty long. He's got some long tracks. First one is like 10 minutes long. He's got a couple of 10-minute songs on this album.
Antiphon takes you on a journey.
Yeah.
And this time, Alfa Mist is the only one in the driver's seat.
I'm gonna play Nucleus, second to last track.
Penultimate track on Antiphon.
1, 2, 3, and...
Crazy level of emotional immaturity, right? Because when the kids challenge them, when they try to tell them something that they'll get frustrated, they don't know how to communicate or is it adequate enough to express their lessons and so on and so forth. They don't have that patience, so they resort in violence.
Yeah, that one was for Jesse. That was Nucleus from Alfa Mist from Antiphon.
I love it.
Just over there making sounds.
Hits me in some kind of way, making me feel some type of way. I love Antiphon, dude. Like, it's just great. Yeah, it just speaks to me. I don't know how to describe that to other people, but it speaks to me. Yeah, and I love it. Like all the whole thing. Just listen to that thing from the top to the bottom. Yeah, put it on again after it's done. Yeah, it's good. I love it.
Definitely.
I got a quote for what he said about this album. I just want to raise certain topics with my projects rather than provide any sort of answers. That's cool. Just kind of leaving it up. Like his music is a question. Yeah. It's not an answer.
Right. Yeah.
I think some people look to music for an answer. Yeah. Or look to a myriad of different things that could be the answer. Like, oh, I need a new car. That's the answer. I need a relationship. That's my answer. Yeah. You know, but he's just like, here's some feelings. Yeah. Now what do you want? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it because I think this is what this guy's into, and what I'm into is, you know, like he's into harmony and emotion. Yeah. And the harmony in your life and the harmony in your heart. Yeah. And what's the harmony in your life? Like what's going on? I don't know. I'm not a therapist. I'm barely a musician, you know, like as far as knowledge of music theory and stuff goes. Yeah. I don't know. The stuff, it's so emotional to me.
And it's just good. Yeah. That's just like, you know, what he's raising and stuff like that. And, there was this track he did, and also I forgot to say at the top of the show, he has a lot of parallels with Actress, who he talked about a few episodes
Actress
ago.
Is dope.
Because he also wanted to be a football player.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Growing up, yeah. He actually got signed to like an under-16s club for like, I think Torquay's like down in the south.
Okay.
Kind of thing. And he was doing that for a little bit. But also, like, he also collaborated with the London Contemporary Orchestra.
Oh, I did see that, and I did recognize that. Yeah, that connection. I was like, that's the same orchestra.
Yeah. And so yeah, for the people that don't know, London Contemporary Orchestra is obviously from London. It's this orchestra of really great musicians, classical musicians, but they team up with like different artists, modern artists, to create new interesting things. And we talked about them a little bit on the episode with Actress and how he worked with them, and also Alfa Mist worked with them to do a new version of a track that he had previously written, I think like 5 years ago, called Confliction. And there's a great documentary about this, about him working with the orchestra on Spitfire Audio. And that's also an interesting thing because I recently did a interview with a guy called Ruxpin from London, which is out now in the future, and Ruxpin does a lot of like string sounds on his compositions, kind of thing.
Like using an orchestra or even just VST.
Well, that was the question I had to Ruxpin. I was like, "How are you doing this?" And he was like, "No, it's all sampled string instruments."
Okay, nice.
From this company called Spitfire Audio, and but Ruxpin, he has all these like little MIDI modules that allows him to control the expression of the samples, kind of thing. So as they're playing in the computer, he can control like the volume and like the emotion of the track, kind of thing. Because he said, like, you know, part of the thing about programming strings is that like you have to think about how string players actually play, kind of thing. And it's like, and when you're touching a bow like on a stringed instrument for the first time, it doesn't suddenly make like a really loud sound. It's like a build up. It's like,
yeah.
And so like, you know, a lot of these guys use these like MIDI controllers to emulate that sort of swell in the sound, like and they're live programming the MIDI expressions using these things, sort of thing. And Spitfire Audio is a company that Ruxpin mentioned is like where he uses his strings from, and that's who put out the documentary with Alfa Mist about London Contemporary Orchestra. So it's all kind of connecting.
Okay, it is connecting. It's connecting for me. I love that. That's great.
It's all connecting. And so I don't know why they put that out. I don't know how that project came to be, sort of thing. But it was interesting because Alfa Mist said, you know, obviously he doesn't read sheet music. He can't write sheet music. Like he can't, like working with an orchestra is like really challenging to him. Like he said, he's used strings on different tracks before, and he hasn't actually used samples. He's actually worked with like quartets, like real people on his things. But like when it came to the London Contemporary Orchestra, you know, there was like, it was bigger. It's like 12 people kind of thing or something. And you know, and the documentary is really interesting because he's in the room and he's trying to sort of explain what he means, and he's able to work with their conductor and their arranger, you know, and they're really responsive to what he's saying. And I think being the London Contemporary Orchestra, like by default, they're responsive to listening to people that they know don't know how to work with orchestras, kind of thing.
Yeah,
because they're working with electronic musicians and modern artists, you know, that are not normally part of that world, kind of thing, and they're sort of bridging that gap. Which is actually a really interesting thing for them to be doing, is they're bridging the gap between classical orchestral music and modern music, and how can that sort of, you know, do things. And so, yeah, Alfa Mist worked with them, same as Actress did, but I think Actress had a different way of working with them, obviously. Different artist, different
it's so personal.
Yeah, it's so personal. And for Alfa Mist, like he said, you know, he was like just trying to verbally explain what he meant with things. But they got it because he was like, you know, because they said, yeah, we're trying to tell a story and it's about emotion, and they really got it. They got it, and that's the only tool he had to explain what he wanted on his track was through emotion and like describing kind of thing, like how he wants
us to feel.
And so I really wanted to find this track. I don't think it's out yet. I don't think it's out. But there's like the documentary is out, and you can hear snippets of the thing. But I can't find a place to actually play the whole track with the strings.
So this is that new. It's not out yet.
It's new. You know, it's crazy because it's like in this documentary they're all wearing masks and stuff like that, and I was like, has COVID been going on this long? Now I'm watching like videos of people, orchestras, like
in the past wearing masks. Like
it's crazy.
Oh,
but yeah. So. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of like bring that out there, and
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, but yeah.
Just I mean, as you were saying, to paint a picture of his connection between music and harmony and emotion.
Yeah,
and there's some serious similarities, or at least some semblance of, I don't know, the similar energy, and I think everyone feels that. It's not like it's a new thing that he invented or anything, but emotion and music.
Yeah.
And even if emotion isn't the thing that people talk about, like, did you listen to that new album? How did it make you feel?
Yeah, people don't say that, right? Yeah.
Like it's a personal thing. Yeah. And most of it, do you hear that track? Yo, sick. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, dope. Cool.
Bang.
Yeah, like, okay, cool. Yeah, cool. Like surface level.
Yeah.
You know. Just surface level ideas about how you feel and stuff, but he's going past that. He's like, no, well, yeah. What are the insides? How do you feel like when you're thinking about this by yourself? And he's putting that on blast. And he's like, think about this by yourself.
Yeah,
I want you to think about this by yourself.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's good. It's so good. He's in tune with emotion, and he's in tune with music and harmony. And I'm like, I want this to be down, but it won't stay there. So I'm just going to keep.
The microphone wants to be where it wants to be. Video people, audio people have no idea what's going on right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, sorry. I was just messing with the microphone. Audio people. I'm sorry. I realized we're not all on YouTube tonight.
No.
We're on TikTok though, live. Check it out.
Yeah.
But that will be in the past for those of you on YouTube right now.
Are we in the future or in the past? I don't know what's going on.
We're in
right
both,
now.
bro. Time is an illusion.
I think we're just in the middle somewhere, floating through things.
We don't know where we are or when we are. So anyway,
2019.
thank you for sticking around, Rooster Grooves people.
2019.
Some people might be like out of here already.
I'm already out here. See you later. Bye.
Bye. She.
No,
You're talking about structuralism.
Structuralism 2019. It's another good album, and also he kind of continued the theme of conversation, but this time with his sister. I had a conversation with his sister and like dropped some of those kind of like bits and pieces throughout the track.
Yeah, that's like a theme of communication.
Yeah,
that's kind of upheld throughout.
Yeah, the
album. That's like kind of significantly sentimental.
Yeah. Well, this time he was talking about his sister, about how we formulate our identities amongst each other.
See, this guy's like beyond music.
Yeah.
He's like therapy through music.
Like, first like album he was like talking about, mental health and relationships.
Yeah.
And how we can check in with each other. This time he's talking about how we formulate our own identities amongst each other. Like,
it's insane. I love this guy.
Yeah.
He's super cool.
Yeah.
So what he had to say about this album, it's about the mood as well as my stuff. It's sort of melancholic.
Yeah.
Working with strings gives it more of a cinematic feel. So for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. His sister says at the beginning of the album, I think it was the opening track, for me, now what I'm realizing is that I'm done trying to treat people as if they're finished beings. Because we're all unfinished. Basically, we're all unraveling. He says, I think that's super dope.
It's true.
Because it's not like, here I am, here's what I am. It's like we're all constantly growing. Well, and we're learning how ourselves are, or what ourself is, as we go, and it's changing.
Yeah, it makes you think about how you interact with people. It's like, everyone you meet in whatever circumstance, personal, professional, whatever kind of thing, is like, that person is presented to you as they present themselves, kind of thing. Like,
and you perceive as they want you to be perceived.
And maybe oftentimes we think, oh, this person's better than me or whatever. They've got their shit together. They're doing all these things, whatever kind of thing. We have all these assumptions or whatever. And we forget that we're all just humans and we're still all unraveling. Like, we're not finished. We're never finished until the day we clock out of this world, kind of thing, which is very massive, deep subject, and makes you think. It makes me think about like how I interact with people. Like, it's like, I can be with everyone, like especially with work, because I do a lot of work things, and I'm always on video calls with different people and stuff like that. And it's like, it's like a professional environment or whatever.
Totally.
And these people have like roles. This is their title, whatever. This is what they do.
What they do. It's just who
this
they
is
are.
how I am interacting with them. But we forget that they're just people, and they're still working through issues themselves, or it's like, not to say that everyone has issues, but we kind of all do at some level. Like, we have some.
No, I think that's a fair statement to say. There's no person who just gets it.
Yeah. So you got to treat each other with a little bit more level of understanding, care, respect, whatever.
Yeah, patience.
Patience. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And we're only talking about this here tonight because this guy put this art out into the world.
I didn't even expect to talk about any of this when I was doing my research.
That's what I'm saying. We're talking more about
coming up now.
We're talking more about human therapy and psychology than we're talking about his jazz hip hop music.
Oh no, yeah, it's crazy.
But that's what he's meant to do.
That's what he wanted.
That's what he wants.
Yeah.
Like that's what the vibe I'm getting. That's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to put into the world. And I'm happy to be part of this project that we're helping communicate what he's trying to say to the rest of the world. Hopefully. Hopefully, because he's putting a lot of cool energy into the world, a lot of love. Yeah. And he's communicating that through me, and hopefully somebody else can get that. Yeah. The best way is to listen to his music, though. Don't listen to me.
Don't listen to us.
Yeah, don't listen to Rooster Grooves. Like, we're just here to show people what's out there. But listen to this guy and tell me, if you listen to this guy, please tell me if you don't feel anything. Yeah. Because that would be crazy.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. If you listen to any of these albums, listen to Antiphon, though.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel anything from that,
well, then fudge you.
Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Like,
if you don't feel anything, then, man.
Honestly, though, like, if you don't, though, I'm actually interested. Like, what do you think about it? If you're not vibing with what I'm saying right now and you are listening to this and you did listen to Antiphon.
Well, I can understand musically it might not everyone's
for sure
their thing, because it's very jazzy.
For sure. That's true. That is true.
Like,
and in that way, music's like languages.
So me personally, like, I love this album. I will definitely listen to it. But also, like, I've heard more of his like groovy, catchy tracks.
A little more upbeat.
So it's like, sometimes when I hear like a trumpet solo forever kind of thing, I'm like, it's going a little bit. Okay.
Good trumpet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's cool. Like, I love it. But it's also like, maybe not everyone. I'm just trying to sort of advocate for people.
No, if you don't, if you're listening right now and you don't like jazz,
yeah,
then watch another podcast. I don't care.
That's the best way to say it. Hey,
I love you though. Thank you for listening. We really do appreciate everybody listening. I don't mean to make fun. We really appreciate everybody. Not all music is meant for everybody. That's the beauty of it. There's something for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's all different, and it's all speaking different.
Yeah.
It's communicating in different ways to different people, and that's what I love. That's what I'm here to talk about. If you got anything to say, hit us up. We're always trying to get more interaction with our email. We want to know what you guys are listening to, what you guys have to say.
Yeah.
We're just one side of the conversation here on Roots to Grooves.
Yeah.
And you're the other half, the listeners.
Yeah.
And we're trying to have a conversation with you, and we love that, and that's cool because music is communication. I think this guy's a super cool example of communicating emotion through music. Like, he's doing something bigger than music.
Yeah.
He's not just putting out an album and then hoping it sells and he goes on SNL and he makes money so he can make another album. So I just hit the table.
No, but it's funny though, because like I came across some of his tracks for the drop. I spun them kind of thing. But I didn't realize this grander story until we delved into it, sort of thing. And I don't think anyone would about any artist unless you really delve into it.
Yeah.
And that's what this show is about, really, in a way. But like, also, no,
100%. Like, I feel like a little bit, we're kind of like pirates and we're hunting for treasure.
Yeah.
We know there's treasure out there.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
The answer, it's not in a secret cave under the ocean.
No.
It's right in front of our face.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
And I'm super inspired by, I don't think there's an artist we could talk about that I wouldn't be inspired with or jolted or, in some kind of way. Because, and it's like, but at the end of the day, the weird thing about this show is like, we are talking about musicians and their career, their personal history, as much as we can find out. And if we can't, then we're traveling through their music and what they want to say through their music.
Yeah.
But it's also like, but they're just humans. I think you said this before. Like, we're all just humans on the same planet. Like, no one's bigger or lower than anyone else. No one's more of a celebrity than anyone else. As much as we love all of these artists we're talking about, like, and ones we haven't, like Radiohead or whatever kind of thing, like, they're still just people. They're not celebrities. They're just people making art. and
Exactly.
we're out here reacting to it and trying to make sense of it. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gone on a little bit of a weird tangent, but like
No, that's a tangent. That's what we're here to do on Roots of Grooves. We're trying to communicate with other people. We're just here to communicate and be friends.
yeah.
I'm looking at you guys right now. For those of you not on Audible, I'm looking at you guys though right now. You know, even if you're just on Spotify, we see you.
Yeah.
And we're trying to communicate. And that's what I think music does. That's what it does for me.
Yeah.
It leads me to new ideas.
Yeah.
It leads me to new friends in the real world.
Yeah.
You know? And it's, I don't understand it, but it's powerful.
Yeah.
And I think Alfa Mist is an example of somebody who's recognized that there's power in that, and there's good communication, and there's power in that, and you can make friends, you can do powerful things, and it's amazing, you know. So I don't know, it's hard to encapsulate all this into a nice finite little phrase that I can give to everybody. But like, this is powerful stuff, and I love this guy. But anyway,
it's a continuing conversation.
Yeah, it's a conversation. That's exactly right, Jay. Thank you. Thank you. So that's Antiphon. Mm-hmm. I love it. Alfa Mist, Antiphon. I would definitely start there. Listen to this guy. That's where I would start. Bada bing, bada boom. But next album, Structuralism.
Yeah, do I just play that track?
Is that the track you just played?
I think so.
I've been like one thing behind you all night tonight. I don't know why. Are we on Structuralism?
It's because I gave you too many beers.
Oh, maybe I had one too many beers. But that was on the Signl label.
Yeah, which is his own label. So he's been releasing his own music this whole time.
The whole time? All of the albums?
Yeah, up until his 2021 Bringbacks, which has come out on the Anti label.
The Anti label.
Called Anti.
For Structuralism, he said the theme of communication is upheld throughout the whole album with sentimental significance.
Yeah.
So he said it's about the mood as well as about, you know, with his stuff going on, it's sort of melancholic. But this Structuralism, it's great. Traditional jazz approach.
Yeah.
As seemingly he does all his stuff.
Yeah.
Seemingly. It's tranquil, mellow at times, sometimes chaotic, but it's classical, it's groovy, it's filmic.
Yeah.
I think that's a word.
Yeah. Cinematic,
filmic.
Yeah, filmic.
Filmosity. It has filmosity.
Filmobability.
Yeah. Filmobability.
Filmobability. Yeah.
But okay, so I mean, it's hard to speak about this music and give it justice.
Yeah.
More than listening to the music.
Yeah.
I can't communicate as well as the music communicates to me, and I'm assuming to other people.
Yeah.
I hope everyone knows what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But like I don't know what to say. Like, listen to this music, and it's so good.
Yeah.
You know, I like to think that I'm a musician, that we're, you know, me and Jay are musicians.
Yeah.
And we are.
Yeah. But you're still learning, and I mean,
100%.
That's a separate track actually of things. I was sort of like looking the other day for some reason, because I feel like a lot of people that do music look young, and I was like, what is that sort of thing? And I sort of Googled around it for a little bit, and I found like some article, I think it was on the Guardians or something like that, saying that playing music keeps you young, and it's kind of like reading. Like, I've heard like one old actor, I can't remember his name, Ernest Borgnine was this actor. They did this really cool film in like the 30s or 40s or something like that, where he played like this guy in his 30s who was like a butcher, and he lived with his mum, and he was like trying to like meet women and stuff. Like, it was a very good movie. Like, I can't remember the name of it.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, but it was a really touching movie. It was a really honest movie, and I looked up the actor Ernest Borgnine, and I saw an interview of him when he was like in his later years, kind of thing. And people were saying, how you still like keep your faculties and stuff like that? And he was like, he was reading. He just said, read. It's like, if you read and keep reading, then you'll keep your mind alive and you'll be alive, like
nice.
Kind of thing. And this thing I found about music is kind of on a similar track, because if you continue to play, like, music is the only thing, or playing an instrument is the only thing in this world where you're constantly improving. You're never gonna be the best.
There's never. What's the end goal?
Like, you have to keep, like, as long as a musician, if you pick an instrument, whatever instrument it is, and you keep playing it, and you don't even have to be professional, you know, you can do it in your own time, whatever kind of thing. But as long as if you like keep doing it, like, you'll constantly like keep your mind active and yourself active and be young, kind of thing. I feel like there's something around like more than that though. I feel like it's around vibes and mood and that, because I feel like if you like, you know, just are vibing off of emotions and music, because music is emotion, like, you know, it's just like pure emotion and vibes.
100%.
Sort of thing.
Yes.
If you're vibing off of it all the time,
yes,
then you're constantly stimulating that part of yourself. And also, if you're a musician and you're doing that stuff, then you're not only just vibing off of the music, but you're constantly like practicing and getting better. And
yeah,
better.
your technical ability.
Yeah. So like, yeah, this thing I read about in The Guardian, it was like, you know, it's like music therapy. It's like the more you play an instrument, the happier you'll be, the younger you'll feel, the more active your brain will continue to be in your older age. Like, it's the only thing in this world where you can continue to do it, and you will, continue to learn and continue to grow and evolve.
Yeah.
There's no stopping point with like music or with like learning an instrument. There's no stopping point. It's like you're continuously evolving and getting better, and there's no end to it until the day you die. And like, that's really powerful. Like, and
it is.
This is like completely ad lib and it's like completely digression, but it's like, it's Alfa Mist prompted us talking about it. So
exactly. We talk about what we feel.
Yeah.
In response to what we hear.
Yeah.
And there's something in here that's one and the same.
Yeah.
And I think we all experience that as humans. That's why we're here. If any of you are here listening to this right now, you probably like music.
Yeah.
And you probably recognize how crazy things are communicated to you that you don't think, how are they communicated to me? How does this person know how I feel?
Yeah.
Why did they make that? Why did that make me feel something?
Yeah.
It's endless. It's endless energy.
Endless energy. Endless energy. You should retitle the podcast to Endless Energy.
EE. And maybe. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let us know. If you can convey emotion, you can make music. If you can make music, you can convey emotion. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Should we play out?
That's why I'm here. Yeah. I think that's all I got on this guy.
Yeah, his latest album, just to touch on it, because we don't really talk about it, but it's brand new. It's 2021. Just came out. Give us a chance. Give us a second. No, it's called Bringbacks. And I think the title of it was like inspired by like this card game that he used to play as a kid in London. And it's like, it's kind of involved to try and explain sort of thing, but basically like the sentiment I think behind it is that, you know, a group of people are playing a game and one person can win, but that person still has to stay in until like the rest of the game finishes, and that person could still be called back in again, you know.
Right.
And it's kind of I feel like he's not really talking about the game, the cards situation, more than the sentiment, because so far we know this guy likes to talk about deep shit. So,
Alfa Mist is dope.
Yeah,
and that particular album hit me hard. Like I said, like I'm not joking. Like I just listened to that one again instead of listening to the next album.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I should probably listen to some other stuff too. So I tried to do it. But it's so good.
Well, as we go out, then I'm gonna play you this track from his new album. It's pretty damn good. He did a Colors show as well. You know about Colors? That show they do with people on YouTube, and they're in like this dope studio environment with like a weird colored background and stuff like that.
No, I do not.
Well, he did an episode of that, and he's just playing the Rhodes on this song. He's just playing the Rhodes and rapping in the same exact microphone as we have here right now. The Shure, and it's really good. But this is the album track version that I'm going to play right now. So to close this out with. So, any final parting words before I play this last track?
Is this his latest album?
Yeah, it's called Bring Backs.
He had
2021.
After Antiphon, he had Structuralism.
Yeah.
And then this is what? Off what album?
Bring Backs.
Bring Backs?
Bring Backs.
And then that's it. That's his latest.
And that's his latest thing. He's done a lot of like collaborations. He's done a lot of side albums, side projects.
I literally don't know what happened after Antiphon. I just stopped my research.
Yeah, you've clearly not been listening to the rest of Roots Degrees either.
Exactly. That's my problem. But this guy is so dope. Like, honestly, it was a pleasure to discover him and research what this guy's about.
This one's called Organic Rust from Alfa Mist.
Right on.
Bring Backs. Thanks for listening and watching Roots to Grooves with me, Jesse Quigley. And
I am J Purcell, the founder of Signl Radio, but that's actually J Purcell. I'm just kidding.
And that's actually Jesse Quigley.
Yeah, we switch it up on you because we know you're jokers.
And we're also trying to check if anyone's actually paying any attention.
Sometimes they're not. But hit us up. What's that email, Jay?
Roots to Grooves at signlradio.com. That's SIGNL radio.com.
Serious face, cause it's really a race. Trying to stabilize.
And we're out.
See you
next time.
My fever leaves me in delirious state. Now I'm grinding with your fakes. Here to replace, they cheer me and wait until they hear a mistake. I don't wanna lose my drive, so I'm steering away. Plus I got a call saying that a period's late. So I'm opening my calendar and clearing the dates. It's fate, I'm just a battler. Too black to be tattered up, a hunter and gatherer. Lunge if you're bad enough. Been thrown downstairs, I clung to the banister. I used to have it rough, saw my plan erupt. Now I'm on the set, playing 3 months of Soul Calibur. I miss brekkie, need lunch for the stamina. Young and dumb like a man in love. Meant to vote, do the ballot, but I'd rather see the planet crushed. Organic rust. Can it trust? All turn to organic rust. I should be a fan of your kind, but you focus on the gram and the size. All your followers are tapping the like, waiting for the chance to be the man you're beside. All this surface talk while I'm knackered inside. I'd rather burn them all like I'm Anakin Sky. All these planets collide, trying to capitalize. It's the furthest I've ever been, but I'm lagging behind. At the front of the queue for the back of the line, with the devil's idle hands and the passion of Christ. Trying to plot a map in my mind while you push the panic button. I'm pushing 29, some people are pushing daisies. I could die anytime. Behind enemy lines, I buy friendly fire. Why does everything we hold close damage us? I'm trusting young and dumb like I had a buzz. When it all gives way and I've had enough, I got a few words for the man above. When I'm organic rust, trust. Can it just? Turn to organic rust.
Roots to Grooves is a production of Signl Radio. For more music and independent culture, visit signalradio.com. That's signl radio.com.